If you choose to accept this video, you will be fully immersed in the world of one of TSR's earliest RPGs. In this Mad Musings, we are looking at the various iterations of Top Secret, one of the most popular spy RPGs in its time, back in the golden age of TSR. It's back now under a different TSR. The game is making a comeback with a radically different style, yet keeping the concept the same. I'm Mr. Welch, and let's get out our licenses to kill. Merle Rasmussen is the man that gave the world the first version of Top Secret. You've heard that name before because he's the author of the Mystara modules Quagmire and Savage Coast on this video channel. But Top Secret was his project from the start, though Doug Niles updated the game for 2nd edition. Top Secret New World Order was created by Rasmussen again, but this time under the guise of TSR Games and released via Kickstarter. In 1980, TSR was expanding its game lines away from D&D to try to diversify the market. So we got classics like Boot Hill, Star Frontiers, Gamma World, Gangbusters, and of course Top Secret. James Bond was going strong, with Moonraker just leaving theaters and For Your Eyes Only about to arrive, but well before Octopussy left its dent in the spy genre. So the time was perfect for a game where players could relive the best moments of their favorite spy. Cue the Top Secret box set that gave us exhaustive rules about living the life of being a super secret agent. And I do mean exhaustive. The first edition of the rules was light on fluff, but almost overbearing with crunch. It's a percentile-based system where just about every aspect of spycraft was covered. You do have to remember this is 1980s and the Cold War was still flaring. Carter was still in office and Afghanistan was being fought by the Russians. While 1980s didn't have all the computers and spy satellites that we did have active hotspots being contested by NATO and the Soviet bloc. Because of this, First Edition was known for not having a super secret spy agency, but expected players to play out their characters in real-world intelligence agencies. So there was no equivalent of Spectre or Command, but instead there was information on the CIA, KGB, MI6, Mossad, and over 2 full pages of other intelligence agencies active during that time period. Rasmussen did do his homework. First edition had 6 stats for the players to keep track of, with the range going from 26 to 100 in terms of range. You roll percentiles, and if you rolled under a certain amount, the game gave you a bonus so your character wouldn't be stuck with a terrible stat, which makes sense because spy agencies have a minimum requirement for their agents. Then you get your skills, which are determined randomly, and you get a number of skills equal to the tens place in your knowledge stat. A knowledge of 27 gives you 2 skills, and a knowledge of 96 gets you a whopping 9 skills. So study hard, because that will help your character more than anything. Skills are rolled randomly with a chance to get to pick your skill, but there's a lot of rolling in character generation. The edition had 3 classes: Investigator, Confiscator, and Assassin, or Spy, Thief, and Killer to boil it down to your duties. Each one had special assignments to each mission, and got bonus experience performing their tasks well. The better you do, the more money and experience you make. The problem with First Edition was it didn't have a lot of scope. Other than a player's guide that gave you more options, the only thing released for 2nd Edition was just a series of modules on the GM screen. The game's overarching story was a bit lacking, but that was about to change with 2nd Edition, called Special Intelligence. Top Secret SI was the edition people remember when they think of Top Secret. It was much more expanded and a better designed game, expanding the characters to more than just a bunch of random numbers that you roll on occasion. Now the characters had advantages, disadvantages, a better skill system. They could buy luck points, but they never knew exactly how many they had because when they got luck, they got a random amount that was never revealed to them. The system was similar to First Edition, staying a percentile system, but far less crunchy. In addition, the support for SI was several times the amount First Edition received. There was an additional box set, 9 more adventures, 7 splat books, plus even a line of novels devoted to the game. SI played quickly and captured the feel of the spy movies perfectly. Remember, this is still James Bond more than Jason Bourne, and with the Soviet Union beginning to unravel, TSR needed a new catch, and they did by introducing Orion and Webb, the good guy spy agency and the bad guy spy agency. This freed up players from real-world agencies and let them save the world without having to play all characters from the same country, or at least come up with a reason why a multinational spy team was recruited every single mission. SI was well received by gamers, though it wasn't Dungeons & Dragons, and that reduced its overall impact on gaming. The setting even expanded into the supernatural and superhero genres later with releases, but most groups were reliving their Sean Connery fantasies that the game offered them. The rules were fairly balanced aside from its rather unrealistic weapon accuracies. One tweak a lot of GMs had to make was to reduce the accuracy of guns on all sides so the game didn't turn into a massacre every single combat. Sadly, Top Secret SI was only supported for 2 years before it was dropped. Those 2 years left a lasting impact on older players because there weren't a lot of spy RPGs back in the day, except for the James Bond RPG, that did prove to be more popular but had its license yanked, and then there was later the Spycraft RPG. But Top Secret was the first spy RPG. Now, Top Secret New World Order was born in 2017 and hit the shelves the year after. NWO brought this spy RPG to modern day. The James Bond spy was still there, but you could also play Jason Bourne, John Wick, Jack Ryan. Well, to be a Hollywood super spy, you have to start with a J name. The game was a radical departure from the older sets because it drops the percentile die for a die pool system and adds in more interactive play style. The dice mechanics required you to roll various types of dice to try to hit a target number of 13. The better you are at a skill or a stat, the higher the die type. If you max out a roll, the dice explode and you get a bonus. If you roll a 1, bad things happen, including increasing the target number for future rolls until you can roll it high enough to reduce that penalty back down. It's a tried and true method, but just like the Deadlands mechanic, which were very similar, the chance for criticals are actually higher the worse you are. Now, the reviews on NWO have praised the game for its unique take on spies, as well as updating the setting to modern day. So now you have the internet and drones, and the entire global spy game has rapidly changed. Orion is gone, replaced with Icon, though the groups serve the same purpose. The critics of the game have pointed out that the layout of the books are terrible, and the mechanics are confusing because there's no GM section explaining how to adjust die rolls. Do you add dice, change the die type, change the target number? I don't know. There's large sections that need to be expanded on to make more sense, so you know the difference between a D4 screwdriver and a D10 screwdriver. More books can be helpful, but a reprinted rulebook seems to be what is needed. If you want to get Top Secret NWO, it's currently still in print. You can pick up 2nd edition for not that much. I don't think there's a PDF version of the game, though. Most people seem to prefer 2nd edition. It is fondly remembered for a reason. 1st edition was largely a starting point, but it was largely eclipsed by its superior follow-up. That concludes Top Secret. In its time, it was a fantastic game that sadly didn't age well because of technological and geopolitical changes. James Bond was the go-to spy in the day, but Hollywood has given us so many more options that the game needed to be updated. Is that NWO? Maybe with some revisions, but right now the game needs a revamp to be truly enjoyable. If you want some good old-fashioned Cold War spycraft, head over to eBay or Amazon and grab some of the SI books. You'll enjoy yourself. Next time around, I'm looking at It Came From the Late, Late, Late Show. The last thing I was able to snag from Rice Village's half-price books before the increased rent and now paid up Park Spaces drove them out of business. I'll try to get that one up faster, as I do want to increase the rate of getting these videos out. They just take longer because I have to do a lot of research. But until then, this video will self-destruct in 10 seconds.